try to clean your house better. That sounds wrong, I know, but stay with me. For a long time, I believed the answer to a messy home was more effort, better routines, and longer cleaning sessions. And yet, no matter how much I cleaned, the mess always came back. So when I say don't clean harder, I'm not being dramatic. I'm being honest about what actually doesn't work. We think clutter means laziness. We think a tidy home requires perfection. And we think that if we just try harder one day, it will finally stay done. In this video, I want to gently challenge those beliefs. I'm sharing the habit systems and mindset shifts that helped my home feel calmer, not because it looks perfect, but because it works for real life. These are small changes, but they remove a lot of hidden stress. So if you're tired of cleaning without lasting results, keep watching. And if this kind of honest, practical conversation feels helpful, make sure to subscribe, and follow along. I share more of this every week. Let's start with something fundamental. In this first section, I want to talk about a livable home. I want to start by saying this clearly: the goal is not a perfect home. The goal is a home that is easy to live in. Once I understood that everything about how I cleaned and why I kept failing finally made sense. For a long time, I believed I couldn't relax until everything was done. Every room was cleaned, every surface is clear. A home that looked calm at all times, like the photos we're used to seeing online. But that goal quietly kept me stuck. Because real life doesn't pause. Things get used, moved, dropped, and needed again. Waiting for done meant I was always behind, always frustrated. What actually changed things was lowering the bar in a very intentional way. I stopped asking, is my home perfect? And started asking, is my home helping me today? When my space was slightly tidier, I noticed my mind felt lighter. I wasn't snapping over small messes. I wasn't wasting energy searching for things I use every day. That mattered more than spotless floors or styled shelves. One of the biggest mistakes we make is thinking we need a big transformation to feel better. We don't. Small progress creates real relief. A clearer entryway means calmer mornings. A reset kitchen counter means less tension at night. These are not aesthetic wins, they're emotional ones. Progress always beats perfection. A home isn't a project you finish, it's a system you live inside. When you stop trying to serve your home and let it serve you instead, keeping it tidy becomes lighter, not heavier. And once I started looking at clutter differently in my physical space, I realized something else was quietly weighing on me too, something I hadn't considered clutter at all. Now let's shift away from physical space and talk about digital clutter. We often talk about clutter as if it only exists in our physical space, but digital clutter can be just as exhausting sometimes, even more. I didn't realize how much it was affecting me until I needed to find one specific photo and felt instantly overwhelmed. Like many people, I had thousands of photos scattered across my phone, laptop, old hard drives, and cloud folders. Screenshots, duplicates, blurry pictures, and important memories all mixed together. The mistake I made was thinking, at least it's not taking up space in my home. But mentally, it absolutely was. Every time I searched for a meaningful photo, I felt stressed, impatient, and oddly irritated. That constant low-level friction adds up. Digital clutter creates the same problem as physical clutter: too much volume and no system. When everything lives everywhere, nothing is easy to access. And when something isn't easy, we avoid it until we're forced to deal with it, usually at the worst moment. What helped was treating digital photos the same way I treat my home, giving them one clear place to live. Bringing all my photos together, adding dates, locations, and simple tags turned chaos into something manageable. Suddenly, finding and sharing memories felt calm instead of stressful. I now use an app which lets me organize all my photos digital and scanned in one private, predictable system. It's not about being perfectly organized. It's about removing unnecessary mental weight so your home and your head can feel lighter. And tomorrow I'm sharing a new video about how I keep my kitchen simple, calm, and easy to maintain without constant cleaning or perfection. If you want a space that actually supports your daily life, don't miss it. You'll likely need this more than you think. What became clear to me is that clutter isn't always about where things are. It's often about how much we're trying to manage in the first place. This part, Stopped Owning More, is about matching your home to the life you actually live. I want to say this upfront: a messy home doesn't mean you're failing. Very often, it simply means you're trying to manage more than your current life allows. For a long time, I thought the solution was better routines or more discipline. What I didn't realize was that the real problem was volume. Most homes don't feel chaotic because people don't know how to clean. They feel chaotic because the amount of stuff inside them is greater than the time and energy available to manage it. When your belongings outnumber your capacity, even good habits collapse. You can clean all day and still feel behind. One common mistake is believing that reducing belongings means becoming an extreme minimalist. That fear keeps many of us stuck. But this isn't about empty shelves or owning nothing. It's about honesty. I started asking myself one simple question: do I have the energy to maintain this every single day, not on my best day, but on an average one? That question changed how I looked at my home. Extra mugs weren't just mugs. They were something to wash, store, and think about. Decorative items weren't harmless. They demanded attention. Once I reduced what I owned to a level that matched my real life, everything became easier. With fewer items, cleaning stopped feeling endless. Resetting a room took minutes instead of an hour. Most importantly, my mind felt quieter. There were fewer decisions, fewer visual distractions, and less guilt about things not being done. The biggest misconception about decluttering is that it's about having less. In reality, it's about having enough space, enough energy, and enough calm to actually enjoy your home. Owning less helped, but it didn't work unless I also made letting go easier, especially in everyday ordinary moments. At this point, let's talk about donation system. One small change made a surprisingly big difference in how clutter showed up in my home. I stopped treating donating as a special event. I told myself I would declutter later when I had more time or energy. In reality, that meant unwanted items kept circulating back onto shelves, into drawers, or onto the floor. What helped was turning donating into a simple system, not a project. I keep a donation bag permanently in my closet. It doesn't look pretty, and it doesn't need to. It just needs to be there. Every time I try something on that doesn't fit, doesn't feel right, or that I know I won't reach for, again, it goes straight into the bag. No reconsidering, no folding it back just in case. One common mistake we make is thinking we need to decide everything at once. That pressure often stops us from letting go at all. But these small ongoing decisions are much easier. They happen in real life, in real moments while getting dressed, not during a big decluttering session. The second part of the system is just as important. When the bag is full, it leaves the house. I don't store it somewhere else. I don't open it again. A full bag is my signal to act. Many people say donating clothes is difficult, but there are more options than we think. Some large retail chains collect used textiles, making it easier to pass items on responsibly. Letting things go this way feels calm, not emotional. And when giving is easy, clutter doesn't get the chance to settle back in. Even with fewer things, I noticed clutter still showed up when decisions stayed unfinished. And that's when I understood how powerful small delays really are. Now we come to decide and move on. It comes down to delayed decisions. I didn't realize this for a long time because postponing felt harmless, almost responsible. But over time, those small delays quietly turned into clutter. Most mess in a home doesn't come from use, it comes from hesitation. Things get brought in and then left in limbo. A new item sits on a chair because I haven't decided where it belongs. Paperwork piles up because I'll deal with it later. Clothes get set aside because I'm unsure whether to keep them. None of these feel like big choices, but together they create constant visual and mental noise. The mistake we often make is thinking we need the right moment to decide. We wait until we have more time, more clarity, more energy. That moment rarely comes. Meanwhile, the home fills up with half decisions. What changed things for me was adopting a very simple rule. When I pick something up, I decide immediately. That decision doesn't have to be dramatic or perfect. It just needs to be clear. If I'm keeping it, I put it where it belongs right away. If I'm letting it go, it goes straight into my donation or discard system without passing through another surface. This habit reduced clutter faster than any deep clean ever did. Fewer later piles meant fewer things floating around my home waiting for attention. And emotionally seeing fewer unfinished decisions made my space feel calmer almost instantly. A tidy home isn't built on constant cleaning. It's built on fewer unresolved choices. When you decide sooner, your home has less opportunity to become messy in the first place. And once you experience that lightness, it's hard to go back. Once I started deciding faster, the next problem became obvious. Many things still didn't have a clear place to land. Next up is the drop zones. We tend to blame ourselves for being careless, but in reality, most clutter comes from objects having nowhere obvious to go. That's where drop zones completely change the way my home functions. A drop zone is simply a designated place where certain items are allowed to land. Without them, things end up on chairs, countertops, or the floor. Not because we're lazy, but because our brains look for the nearest surface when we're tired or distracted. The mistake many people make is expecting themselves to always put things away properly without making that process easy. In my entryway, I created a simple drop zone: a small dish for keys and wallet, a hook for my bag, and a tray for mail. Nothing fancy. But because it's predictable, I don't have to think when I walk in the door. My things go there automatically instead of drifting through the house. In the living room, I keep a box for items I use in the evening: remote controls, lip balm, glasses, hand cream. Before, these would spread across the coffee table. Now they have a home that makes sense for how I actually live. The same goes for my bedside table, where a small basket holds everything I use before sleep. The biggest misconception is that organizing needs to look good. It doesn't. A drop zone doesn't need to match your decor or be Instagram worthy. It only needs to be easy to understand and always the same. When systems are predictable, your home stays calmer with far less effort, and you stop fighting habits that are completely human. Of course, real life doesn't always give us time to put everything away perfectly, and that's where I stopped aiming for perfect and started aiming for contained. Now let's talk about corralling clutter. Instead of expecting myself to always have the time and energy to put every item back in its exact place, I created small containers, boxes, or baskets where things are allowed to land temporarily. This isn't about hiding mess, it's about controlling it. Before this, unfinished items would spread across surfaces: a book here, paperwork there, a charger on the floor. Even if there weren't many items, the visual noise felt overwhelming. Once I started grouping those items into a single container, the room instantly felt calmer. The amount of stuff hadn't changed, only how it was contained. The key is having a clear rule. A container isn't a storage solution, it's a holding zone. When it's full, that's the signal to deal with what's inside, put things where they belong, make decisions, or let them go. Without that boundary, a box becomes just another drawer of forgotten clutter. Many people think clutter control requires constant tidying. It doesn't. It requires limits. Corralling gives your home breathing room without demanding perfection. It works with real-life busy days, low-energy interruptions, rather than against it. When items are gathered instead of scattered, your eyes can rest. Your mind follows. And instead of feeling surrounded by unfinished tasks, you see one small manageable container. That shift alone makes it far easier to stay on top of your home without feeling overwhelmed. Having systems helped, but nothing kept my home feeling calm unless I returned to them regularly in small and realistic ways. At this point, we move into daily resets. For years, I believed cleaning had to be a big event. If I didn't have time for a full reset, I simply didn't start. And that's how small messes quietly grew into overwhelming ones. Daily resets change that pattern completely. A reset is not deep cleaning, it's not scrubbing floors or reorganizing drawers. It's simply returning your home to its basic functional state. 10 minutes is often enough. The mistake many of us make is thinking that 10 minutes doesn't count, so we wait for an hour we don't have. What this looks like in real life is very simple. After getting ready in the morning, I make the bed and put away any clothes that didn't make it back into the closet. That small action sets a calmer tone for the rest of the day. At night, before I go to bed, I spend a few minutes in the living room folding the blanket, fluffing the pillows, and clearing dishes from the coffee table. Nothing dramatic, just a gentle reset. The emotional shift matters as much as the physical one. Walking into a space that's already been lightly reset reduces friction. I'm less irritable, less overwhelmed, and far less tempted to let things pile up again. The home feels like it's supporting me, not demanding something from me. In reality, consistency beats intensity. When you reset, daily mess never gets the chance to settle in. And caring for your home becomes something quiet and manageable, rather than another task you're always behind on. As I reset more often, I also noticed how much my environment was either supporting me or quietly working against me. Now we'll focus on clear surfaces. If you tend to put things down wherever there's a flat surface, you're not careless, you're human. Our brains look for the easiest stopping point, especially when we're tired or distracted. The mistake is assuming we should simply try harder instead of adjusting the environment. When I started reducing unnecessary surfaces, everything changed. I removed small tables that served no real purpose other than collecting objects. I cleared shelves that had become temporary parking spots. With fewer places to drop things, I found myself naturally walking an extra step to put items where they actually belonged. This doesn't mean your home should feel empty or uncomfortable. It means every surface should have a clear reason to exist. A table that supports daily life is different from a table that quietly becomes a pile. The difference is intention. One boundary I had to state clearly for myself was this: the floor is not an option. Clothes, bags, papers, none of them belong there, even just for a moment. Once the floor becomes a surface, clutter multiplies quickly, and the home feels instantly heavier. Another misconception is that clear surfaces are about aesthetics. For me, they're about mental calm. Fewer visual interruptions give my eyes and my nervous system a break. The less I have to look at, the less I have to process. By limiting where clutter can land, I stopped fighting my habits and started guiding them. And that made keeping my home tidy feel far less exhausting. Finally, let's talk about the 1-minute rule. If I didn't have enough time, I told myself it was better not to start at all. What I didn't see then was how many tiny tasks were quietly piling up and turning into something much heavier. The 1-minute rule completely shifted that pattern for me. The idea is simple: if something takes less than a minute to do it right away. Not later. Not when you feel like cleaning. Immediately. At first, it sounds almost too small to matter, but that's exactly why it works. Wiping the kitchen counter after making coffee takes seconds, yet skipping it means facing a sticky surface later. Throwing away junk mail the moment it comes in prevents it from becoming a pile on the table. Putting away dry items from the radiator or heater avoids that strange moment where you suddenly realize how many things you've been stepping around. None of these actions feel significant on their own, but together they change the entire atmosphere of a home. One common mistake is thinking that small tasks don't count. We underestimate how mentally draining it is to see unfinished jobs everywhere. Each one is a tiny reminder of something undone. When those reminders accumulate, the home starts to feel overwhelming, even if it isn't objectively messy. The real power of the 1-minute rule isn't speed, it's prevention. By handling things while they're still small, you stop clutter before it forms. You also train yourself to trust that keeping your home in order doesn't require huge effort, just consistent, gentle attention. Keeping a home from falling back into chaos isn't about cleaning harder, it's about changing how you think, decide, and set up your space. Small habits, clear systems, and kinder expectations make far more difference than endless deep cleanse ever will. If you've been feeling tired, frustrated, or discouraged by how hard it is to keep your home in order, I want you to know you're not alone. This work is not easy, and it's deeply connected to how much time, energy, and care you're already giving every day. If this perspective resonated with you, I also have a dedicated video about how I keep my kitchen simple, calm, and easy to maintain without pressure or perfection. You should watch it right after this one because it's packed with practical ideas that can genuinely make everyday life lighter, and missing it would honestly be a loss. And finally, if you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe because you deserve a calmer, more enjoyable life.